Hi everyone, this is Vishal, and from today onwards, we will be beginning our series on current affairs. So, before we begin the class today, first I want to give you a basic insight on how to get a approach while you are studying your beat, your newspaper, or any current affair journal that are available in the market, or even if you are going through the online preparation. Just to get an idea in what way you are gonna capture the news. See, every news that is mentioned in the newspaper, in your any online platform that you have already subscribed to, or be it you have been taking any of the online lectures from any of the institutes or anything like that. Not every news that gets highlighted or like just it keeps on getting flashed on any medium that you are interacting with, it may or may not be relevant for the exam. So which type of news you need to capture, which kind of the news you need to make a note of, or just keep some bullets in your mind. Because see what happens in any of the competitive exam, basically they are emphasizing and focusing on the news of the past like 1 year. Okay, it's simply they keep on saying that okay, just study the current affair news from the past 6 months, 7 months. But honestly, you have to go through the entire news of the past 1 year if you want to sincerely study. And if you if you are basically like targeted for a particular exam, just focus on the last 1 year current affair news. So, which particular news and in what way? What is the basic approach of studying current affair? Today, I was first willing to take our newspaper and give you an insight, but it would have taken a lot of time since we are starting the series on the monthly basis. Like I am starting from the May 2024 current affairs session that we will be covering in the 2 or 3 lectures, depending on whatever the schedule it might be. It's just the starting class. So, first I give you a basic idea of everything. Okay. So how you need to capture and in what way the questions can be framed, that becomes of much significance. So let's begin with that. Let's say, for example, first type of questions are asked basically on certain places that are in news. Okay, sometime when you are looking at any previous year question paper, you might be thinking that whether this particular question has been asked from the polity segment or from the geography segment or from the environment and ecology section, but there might be a possibility that the particular topic was in news in current affairs. Okay, a particular topic maybe in current affair news. Something might have happened there in some part of the globe that made it current in a current affair way more significant or relevant. That's why UPSC has framed a question based on geography, based in the polity of the region, or anything like that. Let's say, for example, any port is there. Okay, any particular city is there. Let's say, for example, Israel Palestine war is going on, and in between, Yemen got involved. Okay, in between, Iran got involved, Syria got involved in the entire war. So it became from the two country war to entire regional war. Many other countries lying outside the Middle East region, they are also continuously getting engaged into the conflict. But the basic countries of concern here are Yemen, Iran, your Israel, Palestine. No doubt it is the just a combination of two particular land groups, that is the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, but still it is called Palestine. So the entire geography of the region, water bodies surrounding it, certain cities are lying in which particular territory, like Houthi rebels. Okay, they may ask a simple question that Houthi rebels were in news, they belong to which geographical region, they belong to which particular country, because Houthi rebels, they have been originated somewhere from the late 90s to like 2000, 2010, something like that, because of the civil war that was going on in Yemen. But what happened when suddenly a conflict erupted in the Israel region between Israel and Palestine? Okay, these Houthi rebels got somehow involved. They started showing sympathy towards their Muslim brothers who were like waging the war against Israel from the Palestine territories. So these Houthi rebels got involved, and these Houthi rebels of the Yemen, they were indirectly supported, indirectly, or you can call it directly also. They were supported by their Irani counterparts, that is from the Iran region. So that's why Iran got involved, and somewhere it was found that Syria also got involved. Syria and Lebanon also. So these all countries became relevant. Then when Israel started hitting back, it simply started hitting some missiles on Syria, then some on Lebanon, then some of the cities of the Iran. One of the very important crucial infrastructural network of Iran was destroyed by a Israeli missile. One particular embassy of Iran in Syria, I guess it was also destroyed by a Israeli missile attack. So these all particular geographical locations got in news. So a question may be framed in such a way that this particular city was in news recently, it belongs to which particular territory or the country. So first type of questions are asked in that way. Regarding the science and technology section, a particular phrase, a particular, like some discovery has been made. Okay, a particular thing was new, like India and Japan, like you can say they collaborated for a joint venture, joint space venture, or developing a kind of some technology. So if two countries are collaborating for a scientific advancement project, something like that, these type of questions become very relevant. And in what way questions can be asked, that which two countries got collaborated for this particular project, or the question can be asked like India and Israel are working together to develop a missile. Name which missile is that? Okay, so simply you all might be aware that I'm talking about the Barak missile. Okay, questions have been repeatedly asked again and again. If there is a cyclone, there is a typhoon, there is something like a natural disaster of any type in any part of the globe. So the entire geographical regions which are being impacted and influenced by that particular natural disaster, they become relevant. And what type of natural disasters they might be? Like, let's say there is a cyclone. Cyclones are usually observed in the Bay of Bengal region. Okay, the name keeps on varying and changing, like they may be called typhoons when they are emerging in the somewhere in the South China Sea and the southern part of the Pacific Ocean, and they may be termed like hurricanes when they are emerging somewhere in the North Atlantic part of the Caribbean, something like that. The name keeps on changing, typhoon, hurricanes, or be it the cyclone. But what becomes more important is the region being affected, in which particular water body they are erupting. And the third thing is that if any project or mission or operation is being undertaken to take care of the rehabilitation purpose. Just recently, there was a typhoon Yagi, YAGI. It was hitting somewhere like Vietnam, Cambodia, regions like that. Okay, so India started Operation Sadbhavna, if I am correct. Just Google it, Operation Sadbhavna. Though I will be taking that when I will be covering the October and November current affairs. Okay, right now we will be talking more about the May part. But what I want to mention, what type of questions are being asked? The question can be asked that Typhoon Yagi, it impacted which particular countries? It emerged or originated from which region? From which water body? Two types of question are in that way. Then India started which particular operation to provide a relief measure for Typhoon Yagi hit Vietnam or some other country. So Operation Sadbhavna will be the answer for that. So I'm talking about if a natural disaster is affecting or erupting any part of the globe, these type of questions may be asked. There could be a volcanic eruption. Many times a question are being asked that particular mount, or let's say Mount Cotopaxi, it is located in which particular geographical region, be it Europe, be it in the Mediterranean Sea, be it in the Arabian Sea, be it in the Indian Ocean or Pacific or Atlantic, whatever. Or let's say, for example, Mount Vesuvius or something like that. Any particular volcanic eruption that was witnessed recently in the past 6 or 8 months, it might be asked based on this particular aspect. So you have to cover these things also. Heat waves, because we are talking about the news of May month. In May, you might be aware that this year we witnessed a vast proportion of rainfall because of El Nino, ENSO effect basically you can call it. Indian subcontinent has witnessed a great proportion of rainfall this year as compared to the previous 2 years. So what was happening here just before the season of, the rainfall, like they hit from the trade winds and everything like that was happening. Just before that, in the month of April and May, Indian subcontinent, especially the North India, it has witnessed heat waves to a great extent. The temperature or the mercury soared somewhere between like 45 to 50, especially in Delhi. And there were some new terms coined: heat waves, cold waves basically, which are hitting somewhere in the cold months. So a question can be asked about notified natural disasters, because the word or the phrase notified natural disasters was in news recently. There were demands from certain states that heat waves need to be categorized or like incorporated in the broader classification of the notified natural disasters. So you might be aware that which type of disasters are clubbed under natural disaster. Of the entire natural disasters, which natural disasters are called notified natural disasters? What is the criteria for a natural disaster to be called a notified natural disaster? What is the exact number? That is 13. are cold waves or heat waves incorporated in this category or not? So these type of questions may be asked, and I have tried to incorporate all such topics in the current slide. Okay. So first, I was just giving you an approach on that which particular types of question are being asked. Then one type of questions again and again, I mean repeatedly they have been asked are like regarding some species. Okay, some species may be discovered in the Western Ghat. Some species of the frog or some like avian species, or let's say any such antelope or something like that which have been not traced since the past 50-60 years, suddenly it was witnessed by someone and it was highlighted in some newspaper. So they may ask a question that a species was recently discovered in which of the following. They will mention the name of the species, okay, because the name of the species are basically scientific, it is very difficult to remember. So they are also aware that the students may not be able to recall the exact name of the species. So they are never asking the name of the species, but what they are mentioning, they will give you the name of the species and they will ask that recently, few months back, this species was in news. It was recently discovered or witnessed or observed in which of the particular geographical region of India. And your options may be, especially most of the time, the options are Western Ghats, Eastern Himalayas, somewhere in the interiors of Indian hinterlands, like let's say Dandakaranya, Chhattisgarh region. Okay, then it might be some Eastern Ghat hills or something like that. And one option may be Western Himalayas, like the Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, or the Uttarakhand region. Because these regions are basically incorporated into the biodiversity hotspots. Are you aware of the fact how many biodiversity hotspots India is having? Of the total, there are around 35 biodiversity hotspots that are considered all over the world. Of them, around 4 biodiversity hotspots are located in India. Not explicitly in India, 2 are explicitly in India and 2 are like half in India and half in the neighboring countries. Okay. So one is your Western Ghat, and what are exactly the biodiversity hotspots? By the phrase biodiversity hotspot, I mean those particular geographical region where there is a severe possibility of some new emerging species, a kind of natural biodiversity is visible there. Like in a limited geographical region, many species are coexisting, be it the plant species or be it the animal species, be it flora or fauna. Okay, so Western Ghat region that spans from the states of, let's say, southern Gujarat, then Karnataka, then your not exactly the parts of Goa, but exactly like crossing through Goa. Then comes your Karnataka, I've already mentioned. Then your Tamil Nadu, and touching a bit of your Kerala region also. Okay, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, you are already aware there is some place called Nilgiri Hills, exactly located in Tamil Nadu. So at this particular Nilgiri Hills, the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats are meeting. So it becomes a very good spot for your biodiversity hotspot. So this Western Ghats, there was a question in 2016 or 17 UPSC pre that Western Ghats span across how many Indian states? So around 5 states, 4, 6, 7, how many states? So you need to take care, you need to have a map on your study table, okay? And you have to very clearly go through, I mean, I will teach you the map reading also, okay? When we will be completing this particular current affairs segment, we will take 2 or 3 classes of the map study also. In what way you have to approach the maps of the India or be it the world, and what types of questions are being asked in the geography segment from the mapping region. They won't be giving you a map and tell you to just simply plant a particular city, locate something like that. But based on your information on the mapping, geopolitical kind of information, they may be asking a lot of questions from that segment. Okay. So we will be covering so many of the topics under your current affairs segment. And you might be feeling at times that sir has started teaching polity, sir has started teaching geography, but that's not the fact. Any such particular news that became relevant from the polity segment or from the geography segment or even from the history segment, that becomes very relevant for your pre-examination. Okay. So all such topics are incorporated in the current affairs segment. So let's start. And the very first topic I have included here is port of call. Port of call, this particular word was in news. And it was in news with reference to Cartagena. Okay. So how many types of question may be asked? A type of question can be framed in such a way that port of call was in news recently. What do you understand by port of call? Port of call is nothing but a particular port where the ships or some vessels, they halt for a specific time for any reason. They might be undertaking a long journey or something like that, and they simply want to take a stop or something. So that is known as a port of call. I've given you the definition also. A port of call is a designated stop where a ship docks during its journey. It serves as a temporary designation where the passengers and the cargo can embark on the disembark, where the ship can be refueled, take on supplies, or undergo some maintenance if necessary. Because you are already aware, even if you are taking a road journey also of a long duration, some 8-9 hours or something, you need to halt for refueling, for some maintenance, checking your with the brakes or something like that. And just imagine the ships that they are undertaking a journey of around weeks or months or like that. So in between, they need to take halt on different specific geolocations on specific ports. So these ports are known as the port of call. Okay, so one type of question can be directly based on the definition. Exactly the definition. Port of call was in news recently. What do you understand by port of call? The second question may be asked that with regard to port of call, a particular port was in news recently from Europe. What was that? The answer will be Cartagena, because this particular place was in news. Spain has refused permission for an Israel-bound ship carrying arms to call at the southern east port of Cartagena, because a news was there. A news was flashing that because of the Israel-Palestine war, there were certain countries which have started showing their resentment either towards Israel, mostly towards Israel, because they regard that Israel is crossing certain limits in pursuit of the war. No doubt, Israel has undertaken a kind of retaliation against Palestine, because we will be discussing the Israel-Palestine topic later on, okay, because it becomes a very sensitive news, so we have to take it very sensitively. Which topics you have to cover? Not in much detail, but still the superficial things also, as well as something related to your geopolity, as well as your polity also, international affair also, because Israel impacts a lot. We are having a lot of deals, we are having a lot of bilateral agreements with Israel, like India under the incumbent prime minister, it is very like proactive while dealing with the Middle East. We have also started a look west policy also, on lines of the look east policy. So Israel becomes very important, as well as Iran also. Okay. So the thing here is that a particular country from Europe, that is Spain, it refused permission for a Israel-bound ship which was carrying arms to halt on its port of Gibraltar. So one question can be asked that which country refused the Israel ship? The answer will be your Spain. And Spain is also very important because recently it became the 99th country to join the International Solar Alliance. We will be taking this news. It happened in the month of May only. Okay. So Spain became very important because 2-3 current affair news were directly related to Spain. Okay. And along with Spain, this particular region becomes important for your geography segment, from the perspective of your current affairs. Okay, both from the perspective of your geography as well as from the current affairs. So I already told you how many types of questions can be asked from this particular segment. Now just look at this particular region. You can see Spain, you can see Portugal here, and then you can see France. Okay. These 3 countries are already visible on the map. So how many questions can be asked from geography, and what particular way? One question can be asked, the country of Spain is exactly located between which 2 water bodies? So your answer can be between Bay of Biscay and your Mediterranean Sea. Okay, your correct option can be this also. If there is an option Mediterranean Sea and Atlantic Ocean, then also it is a bit correct, because Atlantic Ocean comes at the western side and eastern side is the Mediterranean Sea. But just you have to go through the option. If there is Bay of Biscay mentioned, then you have to choose for this, because you see that between Spain and Atlantic Ocean there is also a country called Portugal. Okay, no doubt the northern part of Spain is opening in the Atlantic Ocean. Second question can be asked that Spain has access to which of the following water bodies? So answer will be Atlantic Ocean, Bay of Biscay and the Mediterranean Sea. One question can be asked, is Spain a landlocked country? No. Spain is already having opening to many of the water bodies. What do you understand by the word landlocked countries? Landlocked country means a particular country, a particular terrestrial land, a country lying on land entirely, which is surrounded by other countries and having no direct access to a water body. Like let's say there is a country called Nepal. Just look at the map of India or the world or Asia, anything like that, where India and Nepal both are mentioned. Just look at the location of Nepal. Just look at the geographical location of Bhutan. And look at the location of Bangladesh. Now you will see there that Bangladesh is having direct access to the Bay of Bengal region. Okay, so if Bangladesh comes in confrontation with India, so can India restrict Bangladesh from accessing other countries? No, India cannot restrict Bangladesh because Bangladesh is having direct access to Bay of Bengal, and from there it can go to Indian Ocean and it can get connectivity towards China or Africa or Europe, anywhere it can go because it is having access to ocean. And in case any country is having access to ocean, it gives it a direct access to any place in the globe through that water body, because you are already aware that all the oceans of the world are directly or indirectly interconnected. They are connected to each other. Indian Ocean is connected to Arabian Sea as well as the Bay of Bengal. Indian Ocean is having some kind of connection at the southern side with the Pacific as well as the Atlantic region also. And from there you can go to the Europe, Mediterranean Sea, anywhere you want to go. So in case you are having access to any one particular water body, then you can access the whole world. But if you are trapped between two big countries, you are having no access to a water body, then that particular country will be called a landlocked country. Look at the location of Nepal. Nepal is bound between Tibet, that is the part of China, okay, Tibet, no doubt, an autonomous region of China. It is regarded under being a part of China under the One China policy. And India has also given recognition to China's that one nation policy thing in the 1960s, starting from 1962 and something like that. Okay, let's not go to that. I'm just talking about the landlocked nation. So your one topic of concern is just have a look on, just keep atlas on your table. Okay, just keep atlas on the table when you are studying your current affairs, because a great amount of your geography segment will be covered just through your current affair news. Okay, just look at the mapping segment. So Nepal and Bhutan, they both become landlocked countries. Nepal on the northern side it is having like Tibet, on the southern side it is having India. Now let's say Nepal gets into a direct confrontation both with China as well as India. It won't be able to get access to any other country because it is trapped between the two. If it goes northward side, so their PLA people will be like the People's Republic of China, PRC people will be standing, all the soldiers will be standing that we won't be allowing you to have access to any other country. If Nepal tries to send some of the soldiers or the men towards south side, India will stop or halt everything like that. But what happens if Bangladesh decides to go a war with India? Because why I'm taking the name of Bangladesh again and again, because Bangladesh already is witnessing a kind of civil war. There is an entirely new regime with Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel Prize winner. We will be taking these topics when we will be covering the September-October news, okay? Because something like that was happening in these months only. But still, Bangladesh will become very important for this year current affairs. From geography segment also, from polity segment also, everything you need to cover on Bangladesh. Okay, Indo-Bangladesh relationship, when they started, 1971 war, okay, who was the founding father, everything, be it for the PCS examination or be it from the UPSC examination. But the nature of questions will change. So is Bangladesh a landlocked country? Bangladesh has its border sharing with which of the following states? West Bengal, Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, or any other state is also there. Is Bangladesh having its border sharing with Mizoram? Just look into the map. Okay, so Bangladesh becomes very important. But still, if Bangladesh goes into a war, it is having access to the sea region. Okay, so it won't be regarded a landlocked. But Bhutan is there, landlocked. Nepal is landlocked. Pakistan is not landlocked. Pakistan is having direct access to the Arabian Sea. And same goes with your Iran, because in Iran, you are already where we are developing a Chabahar port. So Iran is also in news because of the Iran's involvement into the Israel-Palestine war, and something more related to that Indo-Iran relations are. Achha, one more country I want to mention, Canada. Canada becomes very important for this year current affairs segment. Okay, try to study everything about Canada, because recently, few weeks back, just 1 or 2 weeks back, India almost fired 5 ambassadors from Canada because of their support towards the Khalistanis based in Canada. Justin Trudeau, who is about to complete his tenure, Canada is going to witness elections next year. So Trudeau is trying to influence the Sikh population that is residing in Canada. In order to appease them, in order to please them, it is in an indirect way showing some degree of support to the Khalistani militants also. even at the cost of Indo-Canada relationship. So Modi ji has been warning Canada again and again, and something happened. There was a guy called Nijjar or someone who was a Khalistani militant based in Canada, and he got assassinated. And the Canadian government, they have raised an allegation against India that Indian external agencies like be it RAW, I don't want to take the names, I'm not mentioning anyone, there are simply allegations. The Canadian government, they alleged that Indian government somehow got this Niger guy assassinated in their sovereign land of Canada. So that's why they took a very hard stance against India. They were making some very provocative statements against India again and again. India kept on warning them that stop being used as a territory or a land being used as a base by the Khalistani supporters. Because in Canada, you are having a enormous proportion of the Sikh population there. Even this Punjabi is even the like the state language there. It is officially recognized state language. Okay, so because of those particular events, Indo-Canada relationships are in a phase of turbulence. That's why Canada becomes very relevant. Canada has the largest coastline in the world. This question was asked in pre also, I think this year. Canada has already been asked because of these particular reasons. Try to study everything about the geography of Canada, with which countries it is sharing its border. Alaska, which is the territory of the US, lies in which particular direction or region of Canada? Northwest. Okay. If you look at the map of Canada, there is a territory by the name of Alaska, which is politically the part of USA, United States of America, but geographically it is located at the northwest region of Canada. So study everything about Canada. The water bodies that are surrounding Canada, Beaufort Sea, okay, North Atlantic Ocean, or be it the North Pacific Ocean on the other side. So try to get how many islands are there which are incorporated into the which are cooperated in the territory of Canada. There are multiple islands, the Baffin Bay Island and everything like that. Just go through everything, okay? Arctic Ocean and everything like. Canada is a part of Arctic Council also because of its geographical proximity to the Arctic region. Which are the important cities of Canada? Which particular cities of Canada, like Montreal is there? So there was a Montreal Protocol also. So Montreal Protocol deals with which of the following? Greenhouse gas emission, ozone depleting substances, or anything else? Okay, Montreal Protocol was signed somewhere in 1986 or 1987. Na? So it deals with which particular of the following, which I mentioned just now. Because Montreal is a city located in Canada, so because Canada was in use, so Montreal Protocol also becomes significant for your current affair examination. I'm just giving you an insight that what type of questions can be asked from one particular country or one particular thing, place, region that was in news recently. Okay. One question can also be asked from here. You all might have heard of a name, Iberian Peninsula. Iberian Peninsula. So one question can be asked that which countries are a part of Iberian Peninsula? If you Google, if you go through any of your whatever books you are referring, in some books it is mentioned that Spain and Portugal, they are combinedly called Iberian region, or they form a part of Iberian Peninsula. This is Spain, and there is a small country at the west part of Spain facing the North Atlantic Ocean by the name of Portugal, because you all are aware that Spain and Portugal, these countries are very proactive in the football segment. There are some very big football names, football player names and all associated with these countries. So already these countries are in news. You might be aware that there is a tomato festival also. Spain became very popular in India because of one movie. There was a movie by the name of Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. It is regarded as a flag bearer of Spain tourism. It has highlighted, shown Spain in a very good sense and something. We are not having any kind of enmity towards Spain. We are discussing how many questions can be asked from Spain. Okay, so I am discussing about the Iberian Peninsula region. Iberian Peninsula basically comprises of Portugal, Spain. There is a country by the name of Andorra. Andorra is a very small landlocked country. If you go by the size, this is example of a landlocked country, Andorra. See, it is having no access to any of the water body. It is trapped between France and Spain. So how many questions can be asked again from the Spain region? That a country lying in the Western Europe region, because this becomes a part of Western Europe. Okay, a country, a very small country trapped between France and Spain, which of the following is which of the following country or something like that. So Andorra is the right answer. Okay, Andorra is a small country trapped between a landlocked country trapped between France and Spain. Got it? So when was this? I was talking about Iberian Peninsula. So which countries are a part of Iberian Peninsula? Spain, Portugal, and somewhere Andorra is also mentioned. Andorra also becomes a part of Iberian Peninsula. Then there is a very small port city or a port, not exactly a country, but a port territory you can call, by the name of Gibraltar. It is actually a British overseas territory. Okay, British overseas territory. What do you mean by that? See, Britain lies somewhere here. Okay. If you zoom, because I've only used a clip, but if you look at the atlas, just at the western part of the Iberian Peninsula, there is a small island. I mean, basically, there are two islands. One island by the name of the Great Britain, and there is a other island by the name of Ireland. And Ireland island has two parts, Northern Ireland and the Southern Ireland. So Southern Ireland is called by the name of Ireland only, and Northern Ireland becomes a part of United Kingdom. To be more specific, I will just give you an idea. Let's say there are these two islands, okay? This island comprises of three territories. One is your England. I'm not very sure which is Wales or Scotland, but just like that, I'm just mentioning. Let's say this is Scotland. Let's say this is Wales. Just check this is Scotland or Wales, because I've not prepared the map. I'm just giving you just a picture of that. Okay. So these three territories are there: Scotland, Wales, and England. England is having a capital by the name of London. Then Edinburgh is there, and Canterbury is there. Leave that part. These three regions are there, and combinedly they are called Great Britain. Okay. Then this is Ireland, the island of Ireland, and comprises of two parts. One is the Northern Ireland, and the remaining part, it is known as the Republic of Ireland, simply Ireland you can call it. So this Ireland is a separate country, but this Northern Ireland, when combined with these particular three countries, collectively they become United Kingdom, UK. Okay. So if a question is asked, what is the basic difference between England, Great Britain, and UK? Just remember, England is a separate country, and England, Wales, and Scotland, combinedly they are all together called Great Britain. And when Great Britain is combined with North Ireland, it is known as United Kingdom. Okay. Why I'm talking about this? And there is something called the English Channel. English Channel lies to the east of this particular Great Britain, between this and France. Okay. This region, somewhere English Channel will lie here. Okay. So important because Spain was in news with this. So why I took this part? Because Great Britain, it is having a overseas territory. Overseas territory means a small island or a geographical part, which is a part of a country, but not exactly located in it, but somewhere else in the planet, somewhere else in the globe, anywhere it might lie. So Britain lies somewhere here, but there is something called Gibraltar. It is a territory of Britain, because in the colonial phase, in the phase of imperialism, be it France, be it Germany, be it Spain, Portugal, or any European country, they have annexed territories all over the globe. India was a territory of Britain. Okay. America, like the USA used to call it, it used to be a territory both of the France as well as the Britain. They have divided. Okay. Similarly, the South America. Britain and France were having or holding territories all over the world. So after the decolonization process in the period of 1945 to 47, many of the countries, they got independent, but some of the small territories, they are still under the control of these particular European countries. And one such place is Gibraltar. No doubt it is lying to the south of Spain. Okay, a small island territory, but a kind of a port. Gibraltar is a port. And based on Gibraltar, this strait, but are you aware of the term strait? Strait is a narrow passage connecting two water bodies. So this is known as Strait of Gibraltar. So what is the function of a strait? It separates two land masses and connects two water bodies. Like there is a Strait of Hormuz, there is a Strait of Malacca. Okay, these straits are very important. So there is something called the Strait of Gibraltar. So a question can be asked that Strait of Gibraltar is located exactly at which particular geographical location. So you can say towards the west of Europe or west of Mediterranean Sea, or it simply connects the North Atlantic to the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, and it separates Spain from the African country of Morocco. So these many questions can be asked. Okay, I already gave you the idea how many types of question can be asked. One question can be asked that which countries are incorporated in the Iberian Peninsula. Answer will be Spain, Portugal, Andorra, and Gibraltar. because Gibraltar is not a part of Spain, but it is a small British overseas territory. So it is explicitly mentioned. 4 regions are there, which all together are known as the Iberian Peninsula. Okay. So now I don't think that there might be any other questions which can be framed from this particular topic. Don't think that I will be discussing all the slides, all the news in this particular way. I will be taking almost half an hour for every news. It is not possible for me because I have to cover the entire May segment in a very limited specific duration. Okay, I was just giving you insight. Okay, just giving you idea how to approach a news. One news was there, one word was there, port of call. And just imagine I have given you around 10 MCQs, how many questions can be asked. So whenever you are approaching or studying a news from the newspaper, try to just make bullets, add more supplements to it. Just keep the atlas on your study table. Just keep some kind of a map on your, like whatever the wall you are using, some on near your study table, something like that. Just keep referring these things. Okay, so you will be covering all the aspects.